Hey guys, so welcome to Corel Draw. Now this is where you get started on Corel Draw. This is to open an existing document, while this is to start a new job from a template, a Corel Draw template. But this is what you need, and this one. So let us open a new document. You can change the name of your document. Let's assume the name is big file. I don't know why I'm using big file. One page. Primary color mode. The difference between CMYK and RGB is CMYK is for printing. So if you want to make design for business card, for company profile, anything that's going to be printed on the machine, use CMYK. That is cyan, magenta, yellow, black. RGB, on the other hand, is for digital. Anything that will be on digital. Your digital flyer, your presentation slides, your video format, everything digital is in RGB. So because we are doing digital, because the logos will be shared on IG, so we'll be working with RGB. The page size. This is A4, A1, different size of paper that you can make the size on. Then this is the measurement format. We'll be using pixels because it is for digital. The size of a post on IG is 1080 by 1080. But I like to use 2000, so it is a bit bigger than the regular. So when you zoom in, the resolution is high. The resolution in 300 is the perfect resolution. Okay. Now this is the Corel Draw interface. On the left here, you have your tools. These are all your tools: your crop, zoom, shape tool, freehand tool, artistic media, rectangle, circle, polygon, text, line. I don't know this one. Shadow, transparency, eyedropper, and gradient. Now, inside all of these tools, there are extra tools. If you click this arrow here, you will see additional tools: smooth, smear. These are all shape. So they are similar to shape, but different alternatives to shape. This is crop. If you click on this small arrow here, you will see the rest: crop, knife, virtual segment, delete. If you click on the arrow here also, you will see extra tools. I love this pen tool a lot. I use this pen a lot. But you can still like freestyle and try to get used to how each of these things work. This is the artistic media brush. It is used to draw. I don't really draw on Corel Draw. I don't know how to draw actually. This is the rectangle, circle. So we will come and go deeper into the tools. This right panel is where your inspectors are. Your inspectors are like quick settings. So let's say you want to align and distribute your work now. When you have, let me zoom out. Control minus is to zoom out, and then Control plus is to zoom in. Let's say you have this, and this, and then you want to align it to the top. You can press T on your keyboard. It doesn't work on Windows, on Mac. Oh, how will I enjoy this Mac without shortcuts? Okay. I use my align and distribute, and that's because I'm already used to it. So bottom, center, vertical center. But I can distribute it to have the same space in between. Align it to the. All of these inspectors here, you can activate or deactivate them from here. Inspectors, symbol, object size. You can open new inspectors and they will be opened here. So this is where your inspectors are. This is where your your quick manipulation of each object is. So your quick properties of each object, you see them in this place here. So what is the size of the object? What is the size of the rectangle? What is the color of the what are the characteristics of the text? How is the shadow? Let's say you put a shadow on a work now. And this is where you will change the settings of the shadow. Let's say you draw a polygon now and then you want to increase or reduce the size. This is where you will do that. You can make it 4 sides. You can make it 4 sides. You can make it 10 sides. So this is where settings for everything you are doing here will be changed. If you are even working with transparency, this is where your settings will be. On the top part, you will see your general settings. So this is where everything on CorelDRAW is. This is your tool. These are your inspectors. This is the engine itself. So whatever it is that CorelDRAW is possible of doing, it is inside here. So everything that you can do with your computer is inside here, even with their shortcuts. They are all inside here. So file is where you do anything that has to do with your file. Do you want to open a new file? I think this is a new feature. I haven't tried it out yet. Do you want to open an existing file? Do you have a file on the cloud that you want to open? Open a recent file that you've done before. You want to close the window, close the tab. Do you want to save your job? Or you want to save as another name? Do you want to save to Corel Cloud or save as a template? I need to explore this template feature. Or do you want to import? This is place. Control I is to import. This is export. This is export to more features than normal export. Print. So everything that has to do with your file is here. This is where you edit. So when you want to undo is normally Ctrl Z. But if you want to see where that Ctrl Z is from, this is it here. Undo, redo, repeat. Repeat is when you make an action and then you want to repeat it. So let's say I move this guy forward now and I want to repeat that action. I'll just press Ctrl R to keep repeating that action. This is it, a repeat move. Or when I undo and then let's say I press Ctrl Z to undo now. And then I want to redo it. I'll just press Ctrl Shift and Z. It will redo the action. So Ctrl Z will undo it while Ctrl Shift and Z will redo it. This is copy and paste. Ctrl C, copy, Ctrl V to paste. This is duplicate. Ctrl D is to duplicate, to make a copy. Ctrl D. It is duplicating it now. That's duplicate. Find and replace. I use find and replace a lot when I import something that has. Let me find something to show you how I use this find and replace because it is very, very important. Okay. Mic 2, 1, 2, check. The find and replace is used to find and replace items. So let's say I have these 3 items here now, and then I have text also. So this find and replace now is to. So let's say I want to find all the rectangles now, and I don't want to manually have to click each one by one. I can click on this one rectangle and say it should find from selection. So now because I have this rectangle selected, it will find other things that are similar to this selected property. So from selection, I can edit the query. Let's say I wanted to find it only by the outline. I can deactivate the other ones and say, okay, oh, I want to find only the items that are with an outline, and then find all. Can you see? I've already selected everything. So that is the find and replace, and I can use that to replace it. So when I find all, now, I can just use that to replace. Or I can make it like this: find and replace. So I can tell you to find a particular color. Let's say a particular outline. This outline, the black outline. No, that's not it. So let's assume I want to find all these rectangles now, and I want to change the color of the outline to blue. I can just click on this find all. That's everything, and I can just change the color to wherever I want to change the color to. So that is the find and replace. This is your view. Anything that has to do with what you are looking at on your screen right now. Your view does not interfere with your job. Anything here does not interfere with the job itself. It is just what the job looks like. So, do you want to see the tab bar? This tab bar is the bar of the tabs. This one here, this big file. So if you add new jobs now, you see them here as a new tab. So if I add a new job here now and I click on OK, you see big file on one side, the untitled file on the other side. This is your view mode. Wireframe shows your work as just wires. The wireframe works when I'm making a magazine, for instance, and I want to see every single thing that is on the job as only wires. So whatever is falling out of the page, I can see the wire. So that's how I use wireframe. The normal is normal view. The best view for previewing is enhanced. While pixels will show you according to the pixels of the file itself, enhanced does not show you according to the pixels of the file itself. It just gives you the best preview. So I always use enhanced. This is to preview on full screen. This is a page view mode. So I can see all the pages. So let's say I have multiple pages now, for instance. I can use this to sort my pages and rearrange it. This is full screen, zoom in and zoom out. Your zoom in naturally is Control plus and Control minus, but this is where it comes from. Zoom in. So Control plus is to zoom in and Control minus is to zoom out. Proof colors, stimulate over print. I don't think you need this. Page, you don't need this. Also for logo, you don't need this, but you can still go and look for it. Your document grid, you don't really need it, but you might be needing your guidelines and your rulers. And these are your rulers. So let's say you design, Control 0 is to zoom into a page. So let's say you design a logo now, for instance, and you want to be proportionate with everything. You can use your ruler to measure everything. So you can snap this here, depending on what you want to use the ruler for, but you will always need to measure stuff with a ruler. That's why the rulers are there. So that's your rulers. Now this is your snap tool. The snap tool is for you to snap your tool to what? So let's say you want to snap it to a page now, for instance. If I have this selected, I can snap to the edge of the page. Let's say I want to draw from this edge to this edge. Because I have the snap activated, I can snap it from edge to edge. On the other hand, if I don't have it activated and there's no page activated, I cannot snap that rectangle to this edge. Can you see it doesn't pick up the edge? So I have to just draw it manually, and most times it will not be perfect because it is manual. Can you see it's not perfect? That's how to snap, and then you can off all snaps. This is to hide your inspector. This right panel, this is to hide it. If you don't want to see it, you can hide it, and if you want to see it, you can go back there to show it. This is your toolbar, show and hide. Everything that has to do with showing and hiding, how it looks like, it is here on your view. Your layout is your pages. You want to add a new page, you want to delete a page, you want to rename a page, you want to duplicate a page, anything that has to do with your page, even your page background. If you want to have a black themed background, you can make it black, for instance. You can have a black background, but that means all your jobs will be coming out with black background. But I use my own with no background, so it is transparent. No background. No background. This is your object. Everything that has to do with a particular object. Do you want to create a pattern fill? I don't know about this one. Insert QR code or barcode. On Windows, if you want to make an actual barcode for a product, this is where it is made. So the way barcodes work is, there is like an international body that gives out barcode. It's usually 13 numbers. Let me show you one. So this is a sample barcode, for instance. Although, because I am using a Mac, I cannot generate this barcode on my Corel job because they don't have the plugin for it. But on Windows, if you want to create barcode for a product, let's say you are designing product packaging, and this is where you will insert it. You see a bigger engine on Windows. This is to power clip. So let's say I have a text now, for instance, or let's say I have a circle. Let's use a circle for that. Oh, shut up. So let's say I have a circle now, for instance. Let me delete all these rulers. Delete, and delete. So delete. So let's have a circle. For instance, this circle is here. And then we have a picture. Control I, remember, file, place, import. So I want to import a picture. Let me say I'm importing this picture here. So let's say I want to power clip this car. Normally, I can easily just right click and power clip inside the circle. It is already inside. Let me bring it closer so you see. So I can easily just right click, power clip inside the circle. Or alternatively, I can go to object, power clip, place inside frame, and then I'll place it inside this frame. So you can place any object inside a frame. A frame is a vector shape. So maybe a rectangle, a text. You cannot power clip inside text directly. You have to first of all curve the text before you can power clip inside text. So let's say we have this Atlas text now. We have to first type. Let's say bigger. So you cannot directly power clip this inside this text. Oh, you can. Wow. These guys have really improved their software. It wasn't working before. Let me try it again. So now you can actually power clip inside the text. That's a good one from Corel. Before it wasn't possible. So this is to edit the power clip. You can extract the contents of the power clip, or you can edit it. If you click on edit now, it will take you inside it, and then you can edit it. If you press your control and you click outside of any object, it will close the edit. So I'm pressing control now and I'm clicking. At the same time, if you press control on anything that has a power clipped object, if you press control, it will edit it for you, like it will open it for you. And then you can press control to come out. At the same time, if you press your alt on your keyboard on any object that has a power clip inside it, it will pick it, so you can even move it from outside. So I was able to pick what is inside the power clip with my alt. I will still come and break down these keys to you, the control, alt, and shift. They are very powerful in CorelDRAW. They're actually more powerful on Windows than on Mac. Maybe because I haven't really taken time out to explore how it works on Mac yet. Mac, not Mac. Mac. On Mac. On Mac. Let me make it sound like Mac. On Mac, yet. That sounds like Mark Zuckerberg, yeah. Yeah, I know what I'm saying. Yeah. Black James Bond. The black James Bond. Yeah. So objects, power clip, extract. This is to lock and unlock. So if right now, if I move this circle, it moves with the contents of the power clip. However, if I unlock it, if I go to object, power clip, and I click on this lock contents, it will remove this check mark here. That means it is unlocked. So if I unlock it and I move this, it will not move the content. Can you see? I don't use all this. I don't use this. I don't use this. I don't use this. Align and distribute. That same inspector that we had before. This is it here. So let's say I have this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. Nothing is coordinated. If I want to align everything to the top, I just go to align and distribute. I also align and distribute. Object, align and distribute. So I can align it to the left, to the right, to the top, to the bottom, center, to the center of page. On Windows, just press P on your keyboard and to take it to the center of page. While on Mac, I have to press Shift P for it to go to the center of the page. So on Windows, just press your P and it will take you to the center of page. And then align, T is to align. On Mac, you have to first of all press Shift and T. But on Windows, it is just the T. B is the bottom. Shift B is bottom. You can align it to the right also, R or Shift R to align to the right, or you could align to the left, Shift L or L on Windows. Now the way this works is, if I want to move this to where Biggie is, I have to first of all click this, then click Biggie. So it will go to where Biggie is. Can you see? So Biggie is what is being used as measurement for the rectangle. On the other hand, if I wanted to move Biggie to where this rectangle is, I first click Biggie, I hold my shift, then I click this rectangle. So it will bring Biggie to where the rectangle is. Can you see? So you first of all click what you want to move, hold your shift, then you click where you want to move it to. That's how you properly use this align and distribute. So you can press L, R, T, B, C, and E, or P to center of page, or you can open your align and distribute inspector. Now, because we have already hidden our inspector, we need to unhide it. So let's show our inspector. So if I want to distribute these things now, I want it to have the same space in between them. I just need to click everything, and then tell it to put the same space in between. So now the space between this, and this is equal now, because I use this key here. Place equal space between objects horizontally. The same L, R, B, T that I showed you just now, align to the left, align to the center, align to the right. They are all working, they are all moving to where this Biggie is, as you can see. Then order is to move it to the front, move it to the back. You know, the way design works is we are working with layers. So let's say I double click this rectangle now. We are still going to walk through this tools panel. So let's say I click on this rectangle now, and then I draw another rectangle, I make it blue. Then I draw a circle, I make it yellow. I type some text, and I make it beautiful. And then it is here, it is intersecting with all of this. Don't try this at home. This is not a good design, but it is just for illustration purposes. I'm never to be cut on fresh. No. Let me give it nice colors. Let's assume this is fine. So objects, order. You want to move it to the back of the page, to the back of the layer, to the front of the page, back by one step. Now it is here. This is it here. Arrange. So if I want to move this to the back of everything, because currently it is the one that's foremost, so it cannot come forward beyond this. It is the one that is on the topmost of everything. If I want to move it to the back of the rectangle, I just need to click this. Move to the bottom of the stacking order. So it is going to the back completely. Let me undo that. Ctrl Z. So if I want to move it back by just one single step, I can just click this. Or I can bring it back front using this icon. And at the same time, the shortcuts are here. So to move it front and back, this is it. Group, to group all and ungroup all. So if I click everything here now and I want it to be grouped, currently they are standing independently. If I click everything here and then I want it to be grouped, I just click this group here. Group objects while preserving their individual attributes. That's to group. So I click on group. It is grouped, and I can also ungroup. So this one is to break it apart. So let's say Let's assume I break apart now, for instance. Let me first of all group these two shapes together. So I group these two shapes together first. Then I will now group everything together. So now if I want to break it apart completely, so it will break any group that is there, all chains of grouping will be broken apart. I will click on this second one. It will break everything apart, break all the groups into individual objects. Meanwhile, if I click on this one, it will only ungroup it one step. So that means this one is ungrouped, while this one that was grouped initially stays grouped. However, let me undo back to when they were grouped. If I click on this second one, it will ungroup everything. So anything that is grouped ever on the job will get scattered and ungrouped. So be careful of which one you are using. Do you want to ungroup one step or ungroup everything completely? Hide is to hide something and unhide it. Lock is to lock it to a certain location. Shaping. Now, this shaping is also very, very important. It is inside your quick inspectors also. Let's quickly run through it. So I have this shape selected and I have this shape selected. If I want to use this circle to cut the rectangle, for instance, I click on, you know what, let's start from the beginning. The first thing is combine objects into a single object with common properties. That means if I click on combine, it will combine both the circle and the rectangle as one. That is combined there. And it is combining using the properties of the rectangle, because I first of all clicked the circle, then I clicked the rectangle. So the circle is going to go and meet the rectangle where it is. Similar to that movement stuff. So you click. So if I wanted to keep the characteristics of the circle, I click the rectangle first, then I click the circle, and I combine. Now it is taking the characteristics of what was selected last. Alternatively, if I want to trim, if I want to weld, welding will weld everything together, join everything, while combine will combine it together. So combine is what is used for things that have space in between them. Let's say I want to make an O. Let me duplicate this. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and make the circle smaller. So if I click on this one and I click on the bigger circle and I click on combine, combine is what will give it that hollow inside it. Can you see now? However, if I use this weld will break everything and weld it together into a single curve, single fill. So weld will weld everything together, and that is weld. You can see weld in action here also. This is weld, while this is combine. So you need to know which one you want to do. While if you want to trim, let's say I want to have this edge cut out by this circle. I will first of all click this circle, then I click the rectangle. And I can weld it. I can trim it. Sorry, trim. Cut the portion. So now I have trimmed this rectangle using that circle. Or at the same time, if I want to get the places where these two of them intersected, I can just click on intersect. So this will intersect it. So this is the intersection of the both of them. Alternatively, I don't use this remaining ones. I just use combine, weld, trim, and intersect. Break apart. So let's say I have combined now. Now the difference between weld and combine is, if I combine now, I can still break it apart into two separate things. So this is break apart here. Ctrl K is to break apart. So I can still break this apart. Can you see? Now it's broken apart. Although they will not be broken apart back to their individual properties. They will be broken apart based on the current property of the object being broken apart. So let's break this apart now. Control K. Let's assume I welded it. It cannot be broken apart again. If I go to object, break apart will not be active because it is already welded. That's the difference between weld and combine. Add perspective is to put your work on a perspective. Let's say I want to put something on a wall that is on an angle now. This is what I will use for it. Add perspective. Convert to curves. Let me delete this. So this is a text object now. I might want to now make this text curves, not text anymore. Currently, you see that it is text with text properties. Well, if I make it curves, now, it will become shapes. Can you see? It is no longer a text, it's a shape. So I can edit the shape. It is no longer text. So this is to convert it to text. So I can still zoom in and let's say I want to make some edits to the shapes. So that's to convert it to shapes. That's Control Q. And then if I have an outline on this shape, let's say I have a red outline on this shape now. And I want this outline to no longer be an outline to this shape, but it should be an object on its own because I want to manipulate the outline itself. I'll just convert outline to object. That's Control Shift and Q. So this is the outline now. It is an object. Effect is you probably will be needing this effect for logo design. You actually want. Convert to bitmap is to convert an object to bitmap. Now, this is a curve. It's text. It is curve, like it is a shape. However, bitmap is an image. So if I want to convert this shape now to an image is not a curve. It doesn't have curves. So I use convert to bitmap. Now it is an image. It is no longer text. So if I zoom in, it will pixelate. Can you see? Unlike if it was text. Let me undo it back to when it was text. If I zoom into text, it doesn't pixelate. Can you see? So, and this is the color mode. So let's say I have a bitmap now. Let me import a picture. Control I to import. I import one of the pictures on my computer. So let's say I have this now, and then I want to change the mode to black and white. I can change it to black and white here. Or I can make it grayscale. And at the same time, I can make it a dual tone. So this is dual tone here. If I want it to go from one color to another color, dual tone, I can change this one to white. Edit. So now it is a yellow and white picture. Quick trace is to trace an object fast. So if I use quick trace now, I can trace the shape. Can you see? It is traced out. This is the image, while this is the vector. That's quick trace. You're using quick trace a lot when you are using a bitmap to make a logo. This is text. Everything that has to do with your text. You won't be needing much of this for logo design actually. This is table. You won't be needing much of this. This is your window. So if you want to see your inspectors, all the inspectors, this right panel here, this is every inspector you have. This is where all your tools are, all the tools that you have on CorelDRAW. This is your move tool. If you have anything on your screen now, for instance, this tool is what you use to move. Currently, the rectangle tool is activated, but to move these objects, you have to use your move tool to move the object. If you click on this arrow, you will see alternative tools here. this is your shape tool. So this is to change the shape of this object. So now you have this roundness parameter on the rectangle because it still has a rectangle property. If I curve this rectangle now, if I go to object and I convert to curve, Ctrl Q, and I click on this same shape, it will be transforming the actual shape itself as a shape, not with rectangle properties. If you look at the properties segment up here, you see that what is here does not indicate rectangle, it indicates a shape. If I undo to when it was a rectangle, you see that now it has rectangle properties. So I can make the edges round. Let's say I want to make it 30 round. Can you see everything is 30 round? If I want to make it 100, so I can make the roundness of different size here, and I can also increase the outline. Let's say I want to make it to have 8 pixel outline or even more. I can increase it here. Then I can change this to inside instead of it to be a roundness outside. I can change the properties here, but this is because it is a rectangle, and that is the rectangle tool. The circle also has its own. This is the circle now. The circle as a circle, you could make it an arc, you could make it a pie, and you could also work on the angle of the pie here. But when you now make this into a curve, it doesn't have the characteristics of a circle anymore. It is now a curve. It is now a curve. You can increase the outline of the curve. You can make it dashed. You can make the lines dashed. That's the circle. This is the polygon. So for a polygon, you can increase the number of sides or reduce it. Let's say we want to have 5 sides. This is a 5 sides polygon. And we can also use this shape tool to make it a star. So this is the shape tool now. It is working like this on a polygon. Each shape always uses the shape tool differently. And at the same time, you can click on this small arrow by the polygon to make it a star. So you can pick a star by default. How many sides do you want your star to have? Let's say you want it to have 5 sides, like a normal star is supposed to have. That is the star there. At the same time, you could increase the number of sides your star will have. Let's say you want to have 7 sides. Perfect star. That's it. I am holding my control to make the size the same. And if I hold my shift, it will increase it from the center. And if I hold shift and control, it will increase it from the center proportionately. But if I don't hold control, it will increase from the center, but not proportionately. So control is to make the size proportionate. If I press my space bar, it will take me back to my move tool. So if I'm on any tool now, for instance, and I just press my space bar, it will automatically change it back to the move tool. But there are times when you are typing. So let's say you are typing this now, and then you want to move back to your move tool. If you press your space bar, naturally it will add a space to it for you. But if you press Control and space, it will take you back to the move tool. That's Siri. Control and space, it will take you back to the move tool. Control and space will also take you back to the previously used tool, which is the text tool. So Control space, back to the move tool. So this is your text to type. You might not be needing this tool, but this is shadow. Let's say I have this box now. Assume the box is white, and then I want it to have a shadow. This is what I'll use to add a shadow to it. I can add a shadow to it. I am holding shift on my keyboard, so it is not moving around. Now there's no shift. It can be on any angle. But when I hold shift, it will not move around. It will just snap to an angle. Control does the same thing also. Shift or control, they do the same thing. So it will make it snap. So let's say I want it to be down like this now. The settings for the shadow is up here. I can change the color of the shadow. I might want the shadow to be orange. Then multiply is the natural blending mode of a shadow. I will show you this blending mode on transparency. This is the transparency of the shadow. I could make it more sharp or make it less visible. So I want to make it 10%. Well, this is the feather. So how much feather do I want the shadow to have? I might want the shadow to have plenty feather. So let's say I make it 50 here. The feather will be increased. That's more feather. And let's say I want the feather to be very, very small and concise. I could make it 7. And it is small now. And then this is to clear the shadow. Clear drop shadow. Then transparency. Let's make this color. This is transparency. If I want to make this transparent, I just need to click on uniform, this here. Irregular, evenly distributed transparency. It is called uniform transparency. Corel have made most of all these things. Instead of just the word, they made it what each thing does, and that's beautiful. Before, what was just here is uniform fill, linear fill, or gradient fill, just short. Now they have made it longer now, so it is each thing is explaining what it is going to do, and that's actually a beautiful one from Corel. So now it's uniform transparency at 50%. I could make it more transparent, take it to 90. Can you see? It is still there, but it is transparent now. Or I could want to make it less transparent. Let's say it's 30. And I can also take out the transparency. Alternatively, I can have a linear gradient transparency. So this is a gradient transparency now. I could make it round. This will make the transparency a round one. So let's say I want it to be from 100 to 0. So it is revealing from the corner. So it's revealing now from the corner. Or I want to change it to a square transparency. Or a star transparency. This is star. That was square. So that's that on transparency. Inside this shadow tool here, there are more tools. I use this blend a lot. I use blend and envelope a lot. So let me show you blend and envelope. Blend is for, let me delete this. If I want to, let's say I am designing an exercise book now, and then I have this line, and then I want to have the line repeated. Let me copy, Ctrl C, then paste, Ctrl V. So let's say I want to have this line repeated all through the page down to this button. Now, naturally, what the blend does is, let me select the blend. So it will blend my object from here to here. So if I pick this one here now, and then I drag it down to this shape, it will blend it from this to this. And I can increase the quantity of steps. So let's say it's 30 steps. I want to take 30 steps. But that's not only what blend does. Blend is to blend an object from one to another. So let's say I want to blend this shape into a box. All I need to do is pick on my blend tool, then take this shape and move it to the box. So you can see it gradually transform into a box. I can also rotate this box, and then the blend tool will follow. At the same time, I can make the box colored. I can make the box colored, but the other one also has to be colored. So you can see the color blend. So let's say you need the intermediate color between two objects. Now let's say you need 3 colors between this blue and that blue. I could pick 3 now. So I have the colors that are in between this, and I can break apart to have each color. Ctrl K is to break apart. The same one here that I showed you earlier. Break apart. The one that's used to break after you combine. So now each of them is one single color, and I know this is how the color transforms from this to this naturally. So that is the blend. The second one is envelope. So let's assume I have this text. Let's assume I have this text. Then Montserrat, yeah. So my envelope, what my envelope does is, let me delete this one here and delete this one here. How I use envelope. Let's say I want to have a text that is bent like this. I use the envelope for that. Double click this, center. So that is what the envelope is used to do, to put your vector into an envelope. The envelope works only with vectors, so that's what the envelope is used for. Extrude is to have a 3D effect. So let's say I have this box now, then it is colored. Then I have my extrude picked. Let me give it the color. I can extrude it to make it look like it is in 3D. And this one is more advanced, and I have a technique for using this to make mad 3D designs, but we won't go deep into that. That's what extrude does. This is your color picker. Let's assume I have a picture. Let me import a picture now. And then I want to pick a color from this picture to make this box an orange from this picture. It is always nice to pick your color from your image, so everything looks like they are all perfectly in sync. So let's say I want to pick the one that's seemingly most ideal. Okay, I can now pour that color inside here. That's it. So I use this to pick a color, then I pour it. That's the color picker. While this last one is for gradient. So if I have this now and then I want to make it a gradient color, this is what I will use. This gradient fill, dynamically add, apply the blah blah blah. So I can make it orange. So that's how to add a gradient fill to anything. To make this yellow. So that's a gradient fill. We'll be using gradients a lot also.